Nourishment. If we wish to know what anyone is like, we have only to observe on whom he bestows his care, and what sides of his own nature he cultivates and nourishes. He who cultivates the inferior parts of his nature is an inferior man. He who cultivates the superior parts of his nature is a superior man. These words from the 27th hexagram in the ancient Chinese I Ching, the Book of Changes, by Richard Wilhelm, translated by Cary F. invite us to consider the ways in which we nourish ourselves and others. The hexagram symbol itself represents the image of an open mouth through which we receive nourishment for our physical bodies in the form of food and drink. The hexagram also speaks to the quality of words on the lips of a person. What, when, and how a person communicates is a reflection of the aspects of themselves that they've cultivated. Just as one nourishes others through the sharing of food, we also may offer mental, emotional, and spiritual nourishment through words and song. On the shadow side, our words can also be hurtful to others if they accompany a negative or disparaging frequency or tone. In the words of the great poet Maya Angelou, we can use our mouths to spill words armed for slaughter. In the gene key synthesis, Richard Rudd establishes a frequency band for the 27th gene key that moves from selfishness at the lower frequency band to altruism at the gift frequency, finally to selflessness at the citic frequency. These three themes, or frequency bands, have been central to my life experience, and I've navigated the full spectrum of what it means to nourish myself and others, or not, at all three levels. There have been times in my life when I have nourished others to my own detriment. I'm one of those people who is acutely aware of the emotional conditions of the people around me to such degree that from an early age, my behavioral patterns developed around how I could create a good experience for them rather than for myself. Extroverted sensing for someone like me comes more naturally than introverted sensing. I'm driven to nourish others. So, one of the most challenging lessons I've been invited to learn by life is that we must each take care of nourishing ourselves first before we can sustainably support the altruism that is natural to us. One thing that made this realization especially challenging for me was that the nourishment I've needed at times was very different from what others around me seemed to be craving. In this current age, we are all socialized to be fairly homogeneous. Shouldn't you want to be nourished in the same ways, by the same experiences, and with the same ideas as everyone else? This simply did not hold true for me. So, at times, seeking that which truly satisfied my spirit made me feel like quite the oddball. Thus, the absolute virtue of my selfishness. It was only by selfishly seeking the answers to my own questions and committing myself to finding out who I really was that I began to uncover and perhaps recover how I can really use my unique gifts and talents to both satisfy myself and serve us all. My selflessness and my greatest opportunity to serve was found within my selfishness. My spiritual path, like many, has had its ups and downs. I've embraced the most profound ecstasy, and I've endured the agony of what some refer to as the dark night of the soul. While I've been inwardly focused for some time, I know that my purpose is a transpersonal one. I love people. I've been nourishing my own spirit by studying, contemplating, reading, and meditating, and embodying different spiritual modalities, so that I may now begin to relate to and encourage others who find themselves inspired to tread a similar path. I've learned that each of us comes here with specific gifts. Each of us represents a different idea that the universe is having, so it can know itself. At the highest frequency of this 27th hexagram, one begins to understand that the sense of separation that we feel from one another is an illusion. Just as the food you eat nourishes all the different cells in the different organ systems of your body, what nourishes your spirit in truth nourishes the whole universe. Your pathway to this selflessness begins with selfishly coming to know yourself truly, wholly, and deeply. This is a path that requires tremendous courage, as life may invite you to face your inner shadows time and time again until you embrace them, integrate them into the light of your whole being, and ultimately transcend them. From the platform of this profound self-knowing, and therefore cosmic knowing, the succor you can provide to those around you is immeasurable. Richard Rudd says that the 27th gene key represents a built-in planetary law that rules all sentient life. That to give is to receive. And this is the food of the gods.